Well, hello, YouTubers. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Today on YouTube, lots of people over the recent months have said, why don't you film this show? And then we can see what you look like. Look, I've had a long Sunday cleaning the car, doing some chores, watched a bit of Formula One earlier this evening, slobbed out on the sofa, probably spilled a bit of food down my T-shirt. Trust me, you do not want to see this right now. This is a very scruffy-looking podcast presenter right now. I mean, I could film it, but nobody wants to watch it. So you get the audio on YouTube, but as a reminder, you can subscribe to the show. I'd love you to have as a subscriber on the show. It's a free thing to download on YouTube every single day. That little bell icon means you get a notification when I put a new show live, which should be around the same time every single day. And a good show today. Well, coming up on today's show, Tesla says it has not received any kind of subpoena on its Model 3. Toyota could be reviving the MR2 as a pure electric car, and another oil company ties up with an EV company. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. It's Monday, the 29th of October, 2018, a brand new week. It's Halloween week this week. And it's Martin Lee here, and I've been through every EV story today that I could find, at least, so you don't have to. I'm trying to save you some time on this and bring you the stories that you need to know, all thanks to myev.com. The team there do help me make this show, and in return, I always promise to give a little mention out for their website, which a few months ago when they first launched, I thought they had lots of cars on there for their launch day. I did ask them, how'd you get so many cars? When you were on day one of a brand new website, how'd you get so many cars on there? They said, that's our secret. We could tell you, but we'd have to kill you. However, they didn't say that. However, they, if you look at how many the stock they've got on there now, it's just so many EVs to buy. You can sell. You can learn about stuff at myev.com. Today's first story is a non-story. It's something about something that didn't happen. Let me explain. Tesla says it's not received any kind of formal subpoena on Model 3 production. This is the ultimate, probably, definition of a FUD story. The FUDsters, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There is the disinformation campaign about if you want to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt about anything, you don't actually have to disprove that thing. All you have to do, there's a kind of a theory in communications, all you have to do is spread enough fear or uncertainty or doubt to make people go, oh, well, maybe it's not true. It's one of the things that's covered off in actually many of the kind of global warming documentaries that you can watch. They say that actually people who fight against global warming don't really need to prove that the planet isn't warming up, because it is. All they have to do is just sow seeds of doubt in your mind to go, well, maybe all of the world's scientists are wrong, because there's two of them that are on the payroll for some sort of company that say the other thing. Well, that happened today with Tesla, and over the last couple of days, I think it was a Wall Street Journal story that kicked this off. If I'm wrong, I'll happily correct myself. This is a Reuters report today, says that Tesla has not received any kind of subpoena from the US Department of Justice regarding production guidance for its Model 3 sedans. The electric car maker was said to be facing a deeper criminal probe. A Tesla spokesperson said it had received a voluntary request for documents from the DOJ. The company was cooperative and responded to it. Tesla said this, and I quote, "We have not received a subpoena, a request for testimony, or any other formal process, and there have been no additional document requests about this from the Department of Justice for months," end quote. So wherever this story came from, whoever decided to write it, one of the things last week about the most incredible week that electric cars had, I know it was a Tesla story, but generally about EVs, brilliant. A car maker that happens to be Tesla are making EVs in scale and making profit, which is amazing, and over $300 million profit in 1 month. People were saying online last week, this is it. This is the start. This is the end, right? This is the end game. This is how it, those oil companies, those people that have got big bucks invested in polluting products, they know it's the end. My response was, yeah, and they're not going to go down without a fight. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And stories like this that I wanted to clear up first on the podcast, one outlet reports it and goes, uh-oh, Tesla's been subpoenaed, when they haven't. And, certain websites that call themselves news sites, and I'm not sure whether it was Wall Street Journal started it or not. They would call themselves, obviously, a journalistic outlet with integrity. But wherever the story came from, Tesla says it's not true. But all you've got to do is spread the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt. Once it's out there, every other website thinks, oh, we're behind on this. We better publish this story so we don't look like we've missed out. And then it just goes around the internet like wildfire. So that's just clearing that up at the beginning of today's podcast. Let's get on to some exciting news about a future EV. Toyota could be reviving a legendary name, the MR2. And you know what? It could be coming back as an EV. A resurrection of the famous Toyota MR2 sports car. Big, big fun for everyday money. And it's the famed nameplate for entry-level sports cars. And it could be coming back as an all-EV, according to Motor1.com. In an interview during the Paris Motor Show earlier this month, the European VP for Toyota of Sales and Marketing, Matt Harrison, said that they were in discussions about the MR2's modern-day successor, and it's apparently a favoured potential addition to the product plan. That's because the powertrain that it would sit on is Toyota's new global architecture, which can accommodate pure EVs. So although Toyota are very bullish on their hybrids, we know that it would be amazing for them to start making full battery electric vehicles, and to do that with the MR2, a car that was always very affordable, 2 seats, loads of fun, great weight balance and distribution, and you put a battery pack in that, and that's low down weight, centre of gravity goes way down, and you make it affordable, and at the top you'd have the Tesla Roadster costing $250,000, and then something like the Toyota MR2, which would give you a lot of fun and be hopefully a tenth of the price. I'll put a full link to the Motor One article in the show notes. Now, a friend of mine was recently looking for a plug-in hybrid replacement for his car, which is coming to the end of its lease, and he had to make a decision. He wanted a plug-in car, and he had a Prius. I think it was the very first Prius, to be honest with you, and was that like 8 years ago or something? So he's always had one, and now he wanted to go plug-in hybrid with a big enough battery that could do most of his miles on battery power, and he wanted the BMW 330e, and they said, of course, we'd love to sell you one. It'll be a year away. And that's frustrating. And he ended up buying a Mercedes, I think. I should have thought about this before I started that sentence. I think he bought a Mercedes C-Class, possibly. Would it be the C350e? I'm making that up, and that is from the depths of my brain, which this late at night is notoriously unreliable. And so, he's delighted with the car that he bought, by the way. He's absolutely over the moon with it. He's so looking forward to doing his errands on electric power. Not going to get a level 2 charger installed. Going to charge it on the domestic outlet, because he'll charge it overnight. And he does the occasional long journey once or twice a week with work. And so he needed a fossil for now. Wasn't ready for pure BEV. I get that. But as for his first choice of car, which is the BMW 330e, which they couldn't sell him, unfortunately. Well, not until next summer. BMW say it's coming, but not until next year. It's going to see a further addition to the drive system portfolio in the form of a plug-in hybrid model. The new 330e is going to be a new generation that combines, as BMW say, exceptional driving dynamics. That's their phrase. And with the latest eDrive technology, the provisional figure on the battery is going to be 37 miles. That's 60 kilometres. That's about a third increase on the previous predecessor model of the 330e. Fuel consumption will come down because of that big battery, but make sure you do charge it, because if you don't bother to charge it, you're just carrying extra weight around and burning fossil fuels. In addition, BMW say that the eDrive technology imparts a hybrid spec dimension to driving enjoyment characteristics, and it's got an 8-speed transmission. Of course, it has the fossil engine in it as well, but you get an extra boost mode on the new 330. Well, in a year's time you will. An extra boost mode which ups the output. 0 to 62 on that is going to be 6 seconds, and that's rapid. That's quick, right? But the thing that changes everything is you think, well, if I'm in the market for a BMW 330e, but I'm also in the market for a Tesla Model 3, and if I buy the performance version of that, I'm going to be doing 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, almost twice as fast. And okay, you never need that speed in real life. But if you're buying a performance Mercedes or a performance Tesla, you do think about those things, right? I mean, you are going to want to do a little bit of launching. Just to put some smiles on your face where it's safe and appropriate to do so, up to 60 miles an hour. I mean, you never really use that in real life, but that's tough, for BMW going into the market with a car that is so much slower. As for where you charge your cars, though, another oil company tying up with an EV company. Business Green today picked up this story about EV infrastructure firm Chargepoint. Well, Chargepoint has teamed up with the French oil and gas company Total, and they are going to lay the groundwork, they say, by encouraging UK businesses to put in EV chargers. It's a reseller partnership announced today, and it's going to see Total offer its UK business energy customers the Chargepoint, the installation, and other EV services by the US firm Chargepoint. Well, the Chargepoint press release I was sent today says that Chargepoint, which they call themselves the world's leading EV charging network, and Total have announced a reseller partnership that will offer comprehensive EV charging solutions and services to businesses throughout the UK. They say the partnership marks another milestone in the movement to electric mobility for businesses in the UK, and the agreement comes after several European countries, including the UK, have committed to banning the sale of petrol and diesel vehicles, well, pure petrol and diesel vehicles. And analyst reports indicate that 1 in 4 new cars worldwide by the end of the next decade will be electric. ChargePoint currently has about 55,000 places to charge on its network worldwide, and is committed to expanding its global network to 2.5 million over the next 7 years. That's a big, big increase for them. I'll put a link to the ChargePoint press release in the show notes. Well, an electric report today is all about the Tesla Semi, which is still officially the next vehicle coming from Tesla. We talk a lot about the Model Y. Well, I know I do. Super exciting car, but technically the Tesla Semi is the next vehicle coming out of the factory. But which factory? I don't think anyone's ever said from Tesla, have they? I don't think the Tesla Semi has got an official production base. They announced that they are going to be bringing production forward to 2019, so sometime in the next 12 months production has to start, even if it's hand building them and, one a week. Well, at a University of Pennsylvania summit, which was called Moving America Forward, Next Generation Truck Freight Transport, the NFI Industries Vice President of Fleet Services, James O'Leary, confirmed his company has ordered 10 Tesla semis and were told that they would get theirs in 2020. He also credited Tesla for getting people talking about electric trucking, and I quote, "Nobody in North America was talking about electric vehicles until local news outlets picked up the rollout of the Tesla Semi. That basically led to what we call the Tesla effect. Now, shippers are asking carriers, where are you with electric trucks?" End quote. I'll put the electric link in the show notes for you to click on. Final story today is one to put a smile on your face. An electric vehicle revolution is underway in India right now, but they're not buying cars, they are buying rickshaws. They're home to about 1.5 million battery-powered three-wheelers, a fleet bigger than the total number of electric cars sold in China in the last 5 years or so, is now on the road in rickshaw form. While the world's largest automaker dangled significant subsidies to encourage people to buy their cars in China, India's e-movement, in contrast, hasn't really got any state handouts. According to a Bloomberg article today, drivers of the three-wheeled rickshaws discovered that if they go electric, the e-rickshaws are quieter, a lot faster, they're cleaner, they're cheaper to maintain, there's not much to go wrong, and they're so much less strenuous than cycle rickshaws, which require pedalling all day. So, with more rides possible in a day, as in you can make more money, it's a no-brainer. 11,000 new electric rickshaws hit the street every month, and annual sales are expected to increase 9% every year by 2021. A principal of the consulting firm A.T. Kearney is Rahul Mishra, and has been saying that three-wheeled vehicles make up a $1.5 billion market. Manufacturers of them, people like Mahindra & Mahindra and Kinetic Engineering, along with smaller outfits that assemble parts in India that have been made in China. Well, thank you very much to everyone that has already answered our brand new question of the week. Every Sunday, we answer your question of the week with your emails and your feedback, and we set you a new question. So if you haven't heard yesterday's, Sundays, you can still download that show and listen to it with lots of your input. Here's the new question, though, to answer by this Sunday. It's a simple one. If you could put a public charger anywhere, where would it be? What fits into your life? Apart from at work and at home, where would you put a public charger? If I was writing the cheque right now and it's my signature on the bottom and it can go anywhere. People are saying leisure centres, gyms, cinemas. No one said existing petrol stations yet, but I'm waiting for one of those. Where would, in terms of your life, your commute, if you're an EV owner or you're EV curious and you might buy one in the future, where would suit you? If you could put one public charger anywhere, where would it be? You can email. My address is hello@evnewsdaily.com. That's hello@evnewsdaily.com. You can leave a little comment on YouTube, Facebook, or my blog, which is evnewsdaily.com, has a feedback form on it. You can do it that way as well. Whichever way you want to get in touch with the show, I would love to hear from you, even if it's one line, just a couple of words. If it's a longer set of thoughts, I invite you to email me, and I'd love to hear from you, just to know that you're there and that you're listening. I know there are 109 patrons of the podcast listening as the show gets more popular, so the costs have gone up and things like streaming and hosting and all that kind of stuff. And I don't mind shouldering that up to how as far as I can, but patrons really helped cover the costs. So thank you very much to those patrons of the podcast. The first tier is $5. That's like just a fancy coffee once a month that you can shout me while you listen to the podcast. And the next tier is $10, which is just like a really fancy coffee once a month. And it means you get this show for free. Everyone gets it free, but it means you support it. That's the kind of the way Patreon works. If it's new to you, it was new to me a couple of months ago when I kind of went on there, and I've been really impressed with how it all kind of works, and they look after the payments and all that kind of stuff. So I've got a few people that I support on there now, and I just think of it as, when I walk past a coffee shop, I'm like, I won't grab one today, but I'm supporting so-and-so. I might talk about who I support on Patreon, actually, at some point in the future when I got more time on the podcast. There are 279 previous episodes of the show online. They're all for free, and they're all waiting online from the places that you get podcasts from. You can subscribe on any of the platforms, and you get it first and free, and then you get it automatically as well. It's easy. It just arrives if you subscribe to it. And in the meantime, if you want to catch up on the socials, search EV News Daily. You'll find me. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow.